Odell Beckham Jr. is overrated. Now don't get me wrong, Odell is a special talent and is one of the better receivers in the league, but the hype surrounding this dude since the catch has been absolutely massive. It feels like that catch has caused Odell to be automatically one of the greatest of all time in the eyes of fans and some of the media. From his graceful pregame routines, his trend-setting hairstyle, being on the Madden cover, and being adored by millions of fans on social media, Odell is the NFL's beloved poster child. Now the drama this guy brings is great for the NFL, but devastating for Odell and the New York Giants. I'm going to give you 4 reasons why Odell Beckham Jr. is overrated. Number 1, stats don't lie. After one of the better rookie seasons ever by a receiver, Odell has gradually declined when it comes to production. In 2014, he averaged 7.58 catches a game on 11 targets. That's about a 68.9% catch rate. He had 108 yards a game and a touchdown a game. In 2015, he had 6.4 catches a game on 10.6 targets, about a 60.4% catch rate, and had 96 yards and 0.86 touchdowns a game. In 2016, so far through 5 games, he has 5.4 catches a game on 10.2 targets. That's about a 52.9% catch rate. He's also averaging 71 yards a game and only 0.2 touchdowns a game. When you look at these stats overall, his catch rate has gone down 8% every single year, and the rest of his stats have also gone down. His targets, his catches, his touchdowns, his yards, literally every single one of these stats goes down. And before you make the argument about how he had worse receivers around him in the past, he received 25% of the target share last season and is currently receiving 27% of the target share this season. That includes Victor Cruz and Sterling Shepard, who you can easily argue are better than last year's receivers. Odell was ranked 7th last year in targets, and so far this year he's ranked 7th as well. His numbers are just down. My second point I'm going to make is how important his role actually is. The importance a single player brings to a team starts from the inside with the O-line, the quarterback, and the D-line, then moves out to skill position players. Why do you think the Dallas Cowboys are having so much success? Because suddenly Cole Beasley is a breakout talent? I don't think so. It's due to their unbelievable O-line play. And the same factor sort of applies to Odell. He simply does not win you football games. Because of the hype and excitement of skill position players, they become overvalued in the minds of the average fan. Here's a basic stat comparison when you look at Odell. Now I'm going to compare the win-loss record when he has under and over 90 receiving yards. When he has under 90 receiving yards, the team's win-loss record is 6-8. That's a 42% win percentage. Now when Odell has over 90 receiving yards, the team's win-loss is 6-12. That's a 33% win percentage. That's almost a 10% decrease in win percentage. And when Odell had his crazy breakout game with that amazing catch against the Cowboys, he had 2 touchdowns, 146 yards. They still lost that game. It's just the fact that skill position players do not usually decide the outcome of a game. Skill position players only do so much. It usually depends on how good your offensive and defensive line play, and less based on how good your skill position players are. My third point I'm going to make is him being overhyped on social media. Now, outside of the Northeast, the New York Giants are televised 9 to 12 games a year to the rest of the country, not to mention how many fans don't actually see the games. According to the Global Web Index, 178 million people call themselves NFL fans in the United States, and there's approximately 13 to 27 million viewers per game on any given Sunday. So roughly 15% of NFL fans watch any single game. That means outside of the Northeast, 15% of NFL fans watch 9 to 12 of Odell's games. I'm going to make an educated guess and say that the overwhelming percentage of people, near 75 to 85% of fans, do not actually see Odell play, meaning that the percentage of people only see highlights of Odell on Twitter or Instagram, mainly from that amazing catch and his graceful one-hand pregame routines that blew up on social media his rookie season, seem to automatically earn him the greatest hands of all time. You see it all the time in comments of videos with Odell, and he's already being compared to great receivers like Jerry Rice. It just doesn't make any sense. In the modern NFL, we are way too quick to judge a player and dub him a bust or a legendary player based off a very small sample size. Just look at Jared Goff. People are already calling him a bust and he hasn't played it down. And then just look at Todd Gurley. He's one of the best running backs in the league according to many fans, and he definitely played a great season last year, but so far he's struggling and not one of the top 15 running backs, and his yards per carry is very bad so far this season. Like I said before, people are so quick to judge how good or bad a player actually is. Now my last point I'm gonna make is how easily flustered Odell gets. Now, Odell has created a target on his back. When people gain fame and become as well known as Odell, other players don't like it that much. Just look at Johnny Manziel. Now, I'm not comparing them as players. He's obviously a lot better than Manziel. I'm just talking about how quickly they gained fame, and it caused them to be hated by so many opposing players around the league. When Manziel got into the league, dudes came after him and wanted to rip his head off, and they would taunt him with his money sign. And now with Odell, after seemingly no problems after his first year, the tides have turned. After that embarrassing display with Josh Norman in 2015, where there was a few little fights that broke out and a couple cheap shots that led to Odell getting suspended, other players are now seeing how easily you can get into his head. When Odell starts struggling, he shows his frustrations, which feeds perfectly to the defense, and they take advantage. We have seen this already multiple times this season in separate games. Players get into Odell's head and get him out of his game, and he hasn't handled it well. He will have a target on his back from players around the league from his stardom and how easily he gets upset. In the role of a team leader, you have to be strong-minded and keep your emotions intact, and negatively reacting to things can bring your whole team down, as emotion can drive a team in a positive or negative manner. I'm going to make a quick comparison to two other iconic players with similar personality traits. Guys who chose attitude over talent. Guys who chose to represent their own personal brand more than their teams. Terrell Owens and Chad Johnson, otherwise known as Chad Ochocinco. Now don't get me wrong, these guys were very talented and had very solid careers, almost Hall of Fame level careers, but they chose to live the life of a celebrity on and off the football field, to always have the spotlight on them, making it about themselves. Teammates can get fed up with that, just like they did with Owens and Johnson. It got to a point where Chad Johnson was demanding trades and Terrell Owens became a negative infection in the locker room. Now I'm not saying Beckham has caused any locker room problems, but he easily could end up following in the same path as these two did if he keeps up what he's doing. Now both these dudes were a distraction within the team and also with the media. That's the last thing you want when you're trying to run a franchise, to have one of your better players be a distraction. And right now, that's exactly what Odell Beckham is. So that's all I have for you. Do you agree or disagree? Is Odell overrated? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't be afraid to give me some ideas for future videos. It's nice to have ideas flowing in and hear what you guys want to see. I'm down to do what ifs, NFL teams, predictions, player breakdowns like I've been doing. Just let me know below, and thanks for watching.